Sunday this last week, the president said, I want to quote him, "We must protect our democracy. Enough is enough." He said that we asked him to recall the finance bill. He did. He called us to the X space. We didn't go. And he signed the IEBC bill. But people continued the protest. And he said, enough is enough. I stand here to tell the president with all humility, he doesn't get to tell us enough is enough. Mr. President, you don't get to tell us enough is enough. And I'll tell you why. One, this week, the president has appointed a cabinet. The proposal was to make his government leaner. And there was a proposal to have 15 cabinet secretaries instead of more than 20. Already, we are at 21. And he said there are still some appointments coming up. The president appointed Azimio members into his cabinet. The same guys, the same old guys, old folk, you know, the politicians. And we are telling him, Mr. President, get technocrats into your government. He did not listen to us. But that's not the big deal. For you and I, let me tell you, my fellow Kenyan citizens, this is actually an opportunity. Because for the first time we are seeing these politicians, none of them is on our side. For 60 years, our politicians have made us think that our tribes are the problem. For 60 years of independence in Kenya, we have been made to think that our tribes are the problem, and we have hated each other for it. What God has done is to open our eyes. Now we see. Two, what God has done, He's brought them all together. In the book of Judges chapter 16, there is a story of Samson. And the Philistines took out his eyes, and they cut off his hair and made him weak. But at some point, and you know, they turned him into an entertainer. So he would go into the theater and entertain them, into their circus and entertain them. But at one point, the Philistines and all their leaders gathered together to be entertained by Samson. And Samson asked the boy who was guiding him, "Take me to the pillars that support this building." And Samson leaned on the pillars and he pushed the pillars. And the entire building collapsed on the Philistines and their leaders. There is a reason God has brought these politicians together. Our eyes are open. We know they are not on our side. And now we have an opportunity to get rid of all of them. And by the way, I mean all. Do not be deceived by a politician who's been looking for something for 40 years. Just because he said he's not joining the government. That's a lie. They're just being used and using us as pawns, as they have done. We are the ones to tell the president and the politicians, enough is enough. Enough is enough. And in 2027, don't be bothered by now who is going to lead us, where are we going to get these leaders. You know, when Samuel went to Jesse's house to anoint David, he himself did not know who he was going to anoint. Even Jesse himself did not know that he has a son that could be anointed. He did not know which one. Because I am persuaded that this is a move of God. By 2027, a mighty man of valor, a man or a woman of integrity, a man who loves God and loves God's people and he respects human life and human dignity, God will give us that. We have to tell the politicians, we are the ones to tell you, it is enough. It is enough that 60 people have been killed this year and 75 last year, and all the president can do is say, oh, I'm sorry. Guys, do you know how bad it is that we treat human life with such indignity that we can just take it the way we want? You can just shoot at someone. Do you know how ridiculous? I don't know that we have wrapped our minds around how ridiculous that is. How evil. May the Lord bless you.
Cameraman nisamee hapo.
8.
Thank you. 8 is the day that I have so much hope, so much confidence that it will be the game changer. 8 tunakuja na power soap. Hatuambii mtu yeyote ashuke. Tunakata mti na tunang'oa hiyo kisiki. Zakayo aanguke nayo. After 8, I want to remain with this permanent mark. Iishi kunikumbusha the favor we will do to the coming generation. Time has come to kick out greedy, selfish, corrupt, negroid slave masters who care nothing else but their stomach. Yesterday night, I had a dream. In the dream, I saw a Kenya. In this Kenya, there was so much food. I saw the government preserved canned meat, canned fruits, and cereals that would have fed Kenyans for 3 years in case of anything. This Kenya had a crazy technology, things that nobody has ever imagined. There was so much power that there was no need to use a switch, yani kuzima bulb ama kitu kama fan. Power was everywhere.
The Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, has resigned. She has ruled Bangladesh from 2009, but now she's gone, thanks to a student-led protest, a youth-led protest that has resulted in accountability. Political leaders need to understand one thing. The offices they occupy exist for one reason and one reason only: to make the lives of the citizenry better. When they stop doing that, they have no business occupying those offices.
So politicians are out here asking who is funding the Gen Z demonstrations. Now, let me make it clear. Funding is an old term. We are dealing with a new generation. We are not being funded. We are being fueled. And what is fueling us is your stupidity. Every time a politician goes out and speaks, that's what is fueling us. There's a certain guy who is called Kagombe. By the way, Kagombe in Kikuyu means a cow. And funny enough, he has lived up to his name, saying that we are being funded by Illuminati.
Wale watu wana sponsor maandamano hapa Nairobi ni group inajiita Illuminati. Na sijui kama nyinyi mnajua Illuminati ni akina nani.
Ngombe ni ngombe tu ngombe. Now, such statements, that's fuel for 1 month. You're welcome.
Tutaona tutishwi na aturudi nyuma. Ruto, the best thing you can do ni usema umeresign leo before 8 kwa sababu kesho tunaanguka nayo. Viva!